you can, of course. Wow. Did you hear that? Zoom just piped up. That's a new feature.
Yeah, I've never seen that before. Wow.
Talk about unnecessary. Why on earth would they put that feature in there?
I don't know. I heard that this week at Soul of Yoga.
Huh. Out of all the things for them to change, that's what they're gonna add. Okay. Okay.
Where's Lisa today?
She had her vaccine yesterday, part 2. So she is wrecked. Oh, okay. So it's a privacy thing maybe, because now I have to okay that I am still in this meeting. Even though the meeting is recorded. Even though it's not recording y'all, so it's not really a privacy thing. But okay. Let's start. Let's come to the top of the mat. Feet, let's do feet at hips width. And we're going to do just a slightly different sun salutation today. And it starts with our feet just underneath our hips. Let's just take a breath or so here. And let's release the arms down by our side. And when we reach up, we're going to keep our palms facing forward. Inhale there. And we'll fold forward, reaching forward and down. Exhale. And then it's going to be familiar. Inhale halfway. And let's just step the left foot back. Exhale. Lower the knee. Inhale, chest up. And press downward dog. Exhale. And bring the left foot forward. Lower the right knee. Inhale. And bring the right foot forward. Exhale. Reach forward and up, palms facing forward. Inhale. Slight back bend here. And exhale, arms by our sides. Inhale, palms forward and up. Push your hips forward and reach back. And exhale to fold forward, drop your head. Inhale, halfway up. Send the right foot back, exhale. Lower the right knee. Arch into your Ashtanga-based. Inhale. Press downward dog, exhale. Just bring the right foot forward so that you can lower your left knee. Lift the chest, lift the chin. Inhale. And fold forward, step the back foot forward, drop the head. Inhale, reaching forward and up. Hips forward and exhale, arms by our side. So we'll just do that again. Anouk and I once talked about which way to have the hands face, and this is just one way. Palms forward, we'll fold, exhale, hands down. Halfway up, inhale, send the left foot back, exhale, lower the knee, chest up, inhale, downward dog, exhale, left foot forward, lower the right knee, chest up, inhale. Step the back foot forward, fold forward, exhale. Reach up, inhale. Reach back if you can, and hands by our sides, neutral. One more time, inhale, so we don't go into such an arch that we get a headache. Exhale to fold. Inhale halfway. Left foot will step back. Exhale, lower the knee. Inhale, chest up. Downward dog, exhale. Left foot forward, right knee down. Inhale, chest up. And exhale, step the right foot forward, drop the head. Inhale, reach forward and up into your back bend and arms by our sides. Exhale. Let's bend to the knees. We'll stay here for a few breaths with the arms up. Palms still facing front. And just notice how your chest and chin move when you move your arms back. And just play with that. What happens when your arms are forward? What happens when your arms go back? So this is sort of like your Urdhva Dhanurasana situation. The more you can get your arms to move independently, the more open you're going to feel without any strain in the back. Okay, let's fold and straighten the legs. Exhale. Halfway up, inhale, Send the left foot back, exhale. This time we'll just straighten the right leg as much as we can. Inhale. Bend it again, exhale. One more time. Inhale, straight. Exhale, bend. And back foot forward, inhale. And send the right foot back, exhale. Just 2 times on this side. Straighten the leg, inhale. Bend the leg, exhale. One more time. Super easy. Just go into whatever your range of motion is. Let's step the left foot back to plank. And we'll just stay here for 3 breaths. We'll squeeze the forearms toward one another. And we'll keep the tailbone reaching toward the feet. On your next exhale, use your feet to push you forward a few inches so that you can bend the elbows for chaturanga. And inhale to your upward facing. And exhale, downward facing. We'll stay for a few breaths to shake out the head and neck. Press your heels down, even if they don't touch the floor. Let's lift the heels up high for an inhale. Bend the knees, press your chest towards your thighs. After your exhale, step or jump forward. Inhale to top. Exhale to fold. Let's do feet together this time. Knees together. Inhale, reach up. Utkatasana, this time with palms together. And play with that arm situation again. You're going to notice it's more difficult to get your arms to move. When we have the hands separated, there's quite a lot of flappability, but when they're together, not so much. So that's another thing to keep in mind in downward dog, not down dog, Urdhva Dhanurasana. If the hands are too close together, you'll feel very stuck in your shoulders. So you can play with that in your Utkatasana and figure out where is your spot of perfect comfort. Let's fold and straighten the legs. Exhale. Halfway up, inhale. Left foot back, exhale. High lunge, inhale. Let's lower the back knee and take cactus arms. Exhale. Return to high lunge. Inhale, we'll keep our palms facing front. Exhale, this is Ashtanga-based with cactus arms. Inhale, high lunge. Still the knuckles are reaching back. One more time. Press back as much as you can. Okay, and we'll keep the knee up, just lower the hands and step to downward dog. Take a breath or 2. Press through the floor so your arms get straighter. And let's bring the left foot forward. High lunge for an inhale, palms facing front. But instead of the forward, they're back. Just like you played with in your awkward chair pose. So lower the back knee. And lift, inhale. And again, exhale. Press back. Inhale. One more time, keep squeezing your thighs together because balance is tricky. I see it, I see the wiggling. There's a little earthquake in Carlsbad. And let's lower the hands. Step back, plank. We'll stay here for a moment. And let's push the floor away from you, just like you do in downward dog. Okay, on your next exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. And exhale, downward facing. Few breaths there. I want to show you one little detail about the feet in your transition from chaturanga to up dog. So have a look-see at your screen for a sec. Hopefully this shows up on a computer. So here you are in plank. Look at the feet and the ankles. I'll bend my elbows and I'll push myself back in order to come forward. If I don't do that, the shoulders end up too far forward and then your upward dog is so uncomfortable. So you would lower down, then you'd shoot yourself back a few inches so that when you come into up dog, your shoulders are more over your hands. So let's give that a try. From down dog, just rock forward to plank. Exhale to your chaturanga, and just slide back like 2 inches so that you can drag yourself into your back bend and press the downward dog. So it shouldn't feel like your shoulders are forward of your hands in your up dog, because if they are, it's gonna feel really cramped. Okay, let's lift the right leg up high, inhale. Step it to the hands, exhale. Warrior one, inhale. Fingertips down, exhale. We'll keep our warrior one leg, just straighten the front leg, inhale. So it's not the lunge anymore, and bend, exhale. Still warrior one, inhale, rise up. Exhale, lower the fingers. Pay attention to how strong your back leg has to be. Inhale to straighten your right leg. Rebend your right leg. Now your back leg has to be stronger, because otherwise the edge will pop up. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fingers down. One more time. Inhale. Put the front leg straight. It's easy to get the outer edge of the left foot on the floor. Rebend the front leg. Keep that outer edge down. Inhale, arms up. And hands down flat. We'll just step back, downward dog. Let's try the other side. Left leg up high. Inhale, take a breath. And let's step left foot forward. Warrior one. So the front leg is pretty fancy, but the back leg is pretty strong. Let's lower the fingertips down. Inhale, left leg straight. Exhale, bend. Reach up. Inhale. And lower the hands, exhale. 3 more times, whatever pace suits you. But don't let that back leg get lazy, because if it does, your right hip is going to move back. You won't be square anymore. And that foot won't be flat. That back foot is at an angle. It'll be slightly different for everyone. It's about 45 degrees. And after your 4th round, we'll just step back and Vinyasa. Practice using the ankles and feet to help you position yourself so your upward dog feels like your chest is moving forward, but your shoulders are moving back. I thought upward dog was the most uncomfortable pose for probably my first 12 years of yoga. Okay, let's just step the right foot forward and windmill up to warrior two. Stay here for a breath. Okay, straighten that front leg. Reach out and down, triangle pose. There are so many versions of this. Do any one that you can while getting both legs very straight. And so it feels like the right side of your body is flat, not making a rainbow arc with the torso, more of a straight line. Let's inhale ourselves up. Rebend that front knee for warrior two into Pancake Asana. So we keep the underside long, just like you had in your triangle. Now we just exaggerate the left side body getting long with that reach that we have. Take 2 more breaths. And then let's move your hand to the other side of your foot. Yes. Now push your knee into your arm. Okay. Let's lower the hands to the floor and just step back, Vinyasa or don't Vinyasa. But if you do, pay attention to how your feet help position your shoulders. And up dog should feel like a lot of strength in your upper back in order to open your chest. But it should not feel like strain in your lower back. Okay, let's step the left foot forward. Windmill up, warrior two. We'll stay here for a breath. And while we're here, I'm just going to lecture you on having the ability to go straight from down dog to stepping forward without lifting your leg first. It's okay to lift your leg first sometimes, but just know sometimes you won't. Okay, triangle. Straighten that left leg, reach out and down. Because we want your core to be able to step your foot forward instead of only the momentum of the leg kind of swinging down. So let's lean the shoulders back a little more. Next inhale, we'll rise up. Bend into that front leg for warrior two. And into Asana. That right arm sweeps out over the ear. And just like in your warrior one, you have to pay attention to the outer edge of the back foot. If that edge of the foot is lifting up, sometimes it's just because you weren't thinking about the foot, and sometimes it's because your hips are too low. So the hips are really just at the height of your knee. And let's lower the hands, step back, Vinyasa. Upper back strong, shoulders back, chest forward. Because your upward dog is really what's going to make your Urdhva Dhanurasana, Pigeon Asana. Okay, from down dog, this is your belly strength. Step that right foot between the hands. Okay, now, oh! A nook, do it, yes. All right, let's reach up, just a high lunge. And let's think about a straight line. We're gonna tip forward and attempt straight line from back foot to fingers. We can't see it, so we don't really know if it's happening, but we think about making that happen. So we're leaning a bit forward. Now bring your belly in and up so it's not resting on your thigh. Okay, hands to the big toe side of the foot. Let's make life a little comfortable. Turn that right foot out a little bit and let the knee drop open. For now, we're going to keep our back knee off the ground, so it's comfortable but not super comfortable. If you are, you can come to your elbows. And you'll just let that knee drop open however much your hip says it's okay. All right, let's return to our hands, still inside the foot. We'll turn our right foot to face front. And let's plant the left heel down so it's like warrior legs. It could be, let's do warrior two legs. So heel to arch alignment. Let's slide the right shoulder under the knee and reach the arms out like wings. And try to get our knuckles high up. So our palms are moving away from the ground. And if the walls are close to you in your house, you can just bend the elbows, no big deal. Really, our situation here is about our shoulder under our knee. Okay, let's unravel ourselves and just step back, Vinyasa. From down dog, we'll step the left foot forward, rise up to a high lunge. So we have roughly 90-degree bend in our front knee. And let's start to tilt forward. And as we're doing this, we're going to draw the belly in so it doesn't rest on the leg. And we're going to lift the thumbs up, because otherwise the arms get droopy. If you have any back pain, just keep your hands down. Okay, hands to the big toe side of the foot. Turn the front foot out a little bit and let the knee drop away from your shoulder. Stay on the hands or come to the elbows. This is essentially prep for foot behind the head. I know that sounds crazy, but everything is related. So we're really prepping for a lot of things. But if I were going to put my foot behind my head at some point, I would do this. All right, we'll return to our hands. We'll walk that left foot in a little bit and lower the back heel so we have a heel to arch alignment. We'll bend the elbows so our shoulder goes close to the floor, and then slide that left shoulder under the left knee. Arms up. Good. So our focus here is getting the shoulder under the knee, and now our spine is closer to the floor than our thigh bone. Okay, let's unravel ourselves, step back, and Vinyasa. There are 3 poses in primary series that are really hard, and we are prepping for the middle of those 3. Well, Kurmasana, and even worse would be Supta Kurmasana, which is like part 2 of Kurmasana. Okay, let's step the right foot forward. Lower the back heel, and we'll do the same thing, shoulder under the knee. This time we're going to try to bind around the leg. The right palm is going to face the ceiling. The left wrist will come into the right palm. And if you can't get the wrist and you're just on your fingers and you're using a strap, no big deal. It's still the same shoulder rotation. You just go as far as you can. Okay, so we're going to take one more breath here. We're going to loosen our bind a little bit and turn it into a bound triangle. So allow your hands to be as loose as they need to be so that you can slip your shoulder out of that behind the knee position, more to the inside of the knee position, and then you can get that right leg straight. And when you're getting your right leg straight, notice that you're basically pushing your leg into your arm. Let's take one more breath. We'll unravel, place the hands, Vinyasa. So when we go into Kurmasana later, it's a seated forward bend. And it's a very interesting connection with your shoulder and your leg. And it basically is the same thing that you just did, but it's sitting down and it's with 2 legs at once. Okay, left foot forward. Right heel down, hand on the big toe side of the foot so that you can get your bind. Starts just by getting that shoulder under the knee. And when your arm and shoulder cooperate enough to wrap, your knuckles are going to be near your left hip. So it's not by your butt. If you feel like your knuckles are by your butt, it means that you need to bend your left elbow more. And you'll notice your bind gets much tighter if you're holding fingers near your butt. Purely bending your left elbow is going to give you your wrist. Anook, switch your grip so your other hand is holding. Yeah. All right, let's turn it into a bound triangle. So loosen your grip, allow your shoulder to slip out a little bit so that when you push your leg into your arm, it's like the top of your arm that you're pushing into. Try to lean back. Okay, good. And let's slowly get out of there. Vinyasa. Oh, I am sweating. Okay, right foot forward. Ashtanga-based. Let's stay here for a sec. Hands to that knee. Let's get used to dropping the hips. Okay, let's do a Sewage Stretch before we twist. So we're going to lift our left arm up. The hand can face any way you want. The right hand will come out to the side to help catch us. You can always put a block there, and we'll just side bend. And ideally, you feel it all through this left region. Ooh, so hard. And as we're reaching, we're going to try not to collapse the chest forward. Reach back, open up through that armpit. Okay, we're going to turn this into a prayer twist. So start to hinge a little bit over to that right side, both the arm, and lift the back knee when you are able. And let's bring your thumbs an inch closer to your chest so that you get a straight line from elbow to elbow. Good, let's keep everything the same, except lower your left hand toward the ground and your right arm up. So the forearms are going to move, but the hook of the arm and leg is the same. Okay, let's untwist, step back, Vinyasa. And each time we Vinyasa, we think of shoulders back, like you're putting your shoulder blades in your back pockets so that your chest is presenting itself. Okay, left foot forward. Asana. Into the side bend, so we're going to keep our hips moving forward and down, even though we take this right arm up and back, and then into the side bend. Sometimes I feel like it's inevitable that I'm going to start collapsing forward. So on days where that's happening, I bend the elbow, put the hand behind the head, and now I reach with my elbow instead of my hand. My head is helping keep me honest. If the teacher was there, I would just have them kind of do it for me. But alas, we have figured out how to help ourselves. Okay. So we'll keep this right side body long. We're just going to twist. If the side body goes short, your twist is going to be super uncomfortable. Lift the back knee when you're ready. It's hard to know if your forearms are in a straight line. Even if you look at them, you're not really going to be that certain. So it's just one of those things, if you're ever in a room with a mirror, check it out, or I'll just keep yelling at you. Let's lower the right hand down, left arm up. Your right hand may or may not actually touch the floor, but just notice how you have to press your arm and leg together. They need to cooperate with each other. Okay, let's unravel and step back. Vinyasa. Let's walk the hands back to the feet. When you feel weight in your heels, just bend the knees a bit. Keep the head heavy. Start to roll up to standing. And the head just stays heavy until the last moment. Okay. So I'm just going to come a little forward because I don't know where the camera is. All right. So we're going to reach our left hand to the pinky toe edge of the right foot. And so we're about to enter a twist. For right now, let this right knee drop a bit open. Just see how that feels. And then as you start to kick this right leg forward, you're going to pull this knee in again, just with your thigh strength. The right arm can reach back or can go to your butt, your hip, whatever. Let's just do that 2 more times. So we'll let the knee drop open, but we're going to keep this foot pretty high, and then we'll kick forward again. So as you bend the knee, your arm strength has to pull the foot up. Otherwise, it's going to be tempting to let it drop. And this last time, the third time, we'll just stay here for a few breaths in this standing straight-legged twist. Switch your grip, Miss Carrie, other hand. Yes. And Anouk, kick your foot toward your window a little more. Yes. Good. And let's bend the knee and release, shake it out. So one thing to be aware of is that when you twist, it's tempting for this leg to swing over to the side. We're going to try to keep it in line with the hip. Something like that, as opposed to over here. Okay, so let's try the other side. So reach your right hand for the pinky toe into your left foot and just stand up straight. Let the knee drop open. And we'll start to kick. And as we kick, we bring the knee in. We just push as much as we can. And we'll just do that 3 times. Good, so this is starting to help prep us for a lotus situation, because when you bring your foot up, you let your knee drop open, it's that same hip thing that you would be doing in a lotus. So let's meet with our leg extended. You can reach back or put your hand on your hip or butt. But kick your foot into your hand. Okay, and let's unravel, lower the foot. And at the back of the mat, let's tuck the chin. Bend the knees, let the shoulders come forward. And start to roll yourself down until eventually your fingers touch the floor. Then walk into downward dog. Let's bring the right foot 3/4 of the way forward. Bring that back heel to the floor, twisted triangle. Left hand wherever you need it to be. But push into that right foot so much that it feels like you're about to step forward. Try to see your right thumb. Okay, let's unravel. Back foot a little further back into pigeon we go. Walk the right foot to the left. Bring that right knee down. But you could be upward facing or downward facing. Just try to feel something in your right hip. We'll do it later in other ways that might be more specific. Okay, let's rise up, swing that back leg around. And we'll just go for Janu A. Right foot to left thigh. Twist and fold over that left leg. Janu Shirsasana. Janu is your knee. Shirsa is your head. So really it's head to knee pose, which is a nice thought, but it's not actual reality. Your head is not going to actually be on your knee. It's going to be forward of your knee, like on your shin. Let's try to pull our right armpit toward our left ankle. Good, and let's rise up. Release your right leg. And with the legs out in front of us, arms forward, we'll just start to roll down to our backs. We'll go as slow as we can. Similar idea to when you were standing on your feet, rolling up and down. It's just like a conveyor belt as your spine. When you get down there, inhale, and we'll roll up again for the exhale. We'll try to tuck the chin, and we'll use as much core strength and as little momentum as possible. You'll figure it out quick how much momentum you need. Let's just do this one more time. It's like you got punched in the gut. Your spine starts to move back. And if you need to bend your knees or hold on to your legs, just do that. Go as slow as you can. Whenever you get down there and you inhale, keep your lower ribs tucked in. So that's not an invitation to back bend, just because you're laying back. Let's peel up again. You reach through the balls of your feet, it will help you actually get up without having a pulley system. Okay, let's cross the shins. Plant the hands in front of your hips. Lean forward, lift your butt off the floor, and start to slide your feet through the tiny little space that you just made. And then step into plank and vinyasa. Okay, and we'll bring the left foot about 3/4 of the way forward for twisted triangle. The heels line up with one another. Our back foot is at an angle. We press real hard into that left foot. Okay, let's unravel and walk into pigeon. Left leg in front. If you've never done a pigeon with your back knee up, I recommend that you experience it at some point. It's similar to doing a split with your back knee up. Okay, and let's swing our right leg around for Dandasana A. The setup is basically like a tree pose. You put your heel tied up on your thigh, press that foot into your thigh. It should be a firm thigh. If it's not, they're squishy, then you're just chilling out. And that goes toward what we were talking about after class last week. How sometimes we have to work 100%, but it all balances to about 75% because of moments like this, when your thigh might just be chilling. So think left armpit to right ankle. I also like to press the calf muscle into the floor. It helps keep the leg more sturdy and strong. Okay, and let's rise up. We'll release that left leg, and we'll just come into a boat. The legs can be straight or bent, doesn't matter, your choice. And we'll come into a low boat by rounding our back and coming down to the flat of the low back. Let's return to a high boat. Cool. I need a pulley system, faux show. And let's try it one more time. We'll meet in a high boat so that we can cross our shins. Pull your knees toward your shoulders and keep your feet kind of cinched in like this shin bone or this front leg is pressing into the other leg. Hands down, lean forward, lift your butt, and use that leg in front to slide your other leg through. And then you can step back. And vinyasa. Jump throughs and jump backs are probably the thing in primary series that takes the longest to learn and disappears first when you either take a break from practice or have an injury or whatnot. Okay, let's do a two-part jumping forward. So we're going to land, I'm going to face this way. We're going to land on the edges of our feet with our feet just kind of under our butt. So my feet are flexed and I have my weight in my hands and my feet. Good, so then stay with your body there, but walk your hands back a little bit more. So your shoulders have to stay forward. You just move your hands. Now keep your weight in your hands, extend your legs out, and come down. Yes, good. Because what folks want to do is as soon as the hands come down, they want the shoulders to go back, but the shoulders have to stay forward. So that's why it's tough. Okay, let's baby cradle the right leg for a moment. We're going to turn this into Marchasana A. So we'll place the right foot near the hip. We're going to reach our right arm forward and just hold that left foot for a second. Start to bend the right elbow and pull yourself forward until you can go no further. The left hand, you can just have it out to the side so that you don't fall over to the side. Now think about your right armpit. Let's get it low toward the ground. And wrap your right arm around your right leg with your armpit low on your shin bone. And then it's the same bind you did earlier. Your knuckles are going to be on your lower back or by your hip. Palm out. Left wrist into the right hand. And then head toward shin bone. Let's rise up. We're going to turn this right foot to face the side. So it might even dangle off your mat. And we'll just sit up here for a sec and we'll try to do this with no hands. So our hands could be anywhere. You can fix your hair here. Just check that your left kneecap and foot are facing the ceiling and that this right knee is moving to the right as opposed to dropping in like this. Keep moving it back. And just hang out for a second. No problem. Now just straighten out that right leg and fold to the middle. Just like your knee, we were making it go out, do that same action so that your foot and your kneecap face up to the ceiling. Because they're going to try to drop in and get a little bit droopy. Good, so the legs are firm on the ground here. Okay, and let's rise up, and we'll just try the other side, starting with baby cradle. So we push that foot into the arm. If the arm is not there, just push it into space. So that left foot is moving to the right. And in, toward the shoulder. Kind of like when we did that standing thing, how you were here and then you were here. Remember when we were standing? So same idea, the foot has to be up so the knee can be away. Okay, prepping for Mari A. That left foot comes down, there's about 5 inches here between your foot and your thigh. Reach for your right foot. Use your right hand as a kickstand and start to fold as much as you can. Because this, sure, it's a hamstring stretch, it's going to be a shoulder stretch, but it's also about your bandhas, your belly, low belly drawing in and up. Hollow yourself a little bit so that you feel a nice stretch in your back. And start to take your bind. That left armpit as low on your shin as you can get. If you're in the bind and you think you can go further, just unbind and try it again. Depending on where you're tight, you're going to feel it in that spot mostly. So for me, my hamstring feels fine, shoulder feels fine. So it becomes a stretch for the low back. And it only feels like a good stretch if I draw the belly in. Okay, let's rise up. We'll just turn the left foot to face the side, and we'll just try to sit for a sec. So the knee is not dropping in. This straight leg is anchored. We're just inching our way toward Kurmasana. We're almost there. Okay, so let's bring the left leg out. We're going to fold, and this time, Urdhva Dhanurasana, hold the edges of the feet. It may not be possible. When we did it a few minutes ago, your hands might have been supporting you. So maybe keep your hands as support. If you feel like you can reach for your feet without strain, then do that. We used to call this Pancake Asana. Pretty appropriate. If you're holding your feet, you have to press your feet into your hands. Otherwise, they're going to be dropping in. Okay, let's rise up, wiggle the legs together. Let's cross the shins, hands down slightly in front of your hips. Lean forward, lift your butt, and use your front shin to help you slide your legs through. Step back. Once you're in plank, life is good again. Vinyasa. Okay. Let's jump through and have a seat. So you could do the same two-part jump through we did before. You can kind of make it go faster if you want. It's just going to be, you have to keep your shoulders forward. So see where my shoulders are in relation to my hands. The common error is folks do something like this. And see how my shoulders are now behind my hands? So that doesn't work. So that is all. Keep that in mind. You'll have to practice it literally a million times. Okay, so we're going to prep for sundial-ish. So let's bring our right foot out like we did a moment ago. And just on its own, keep the knee back there. We'll turn it into something in a sec. But I want the legs to be able to control themselves without the hands having to move them into position. Sort of. Okay. So we're going to just start folding forward. And at some point, your elbows may or may not get to the floor. But either way, you're going to feel like your back is rounding a bit. Okay. So we'll undo that. Let's snake our right arm, rather, underneath the right leg. And we'll lift into bird of paradise, sitting down. So much easier when we're sitting down. Oh my God. I love it this way. So the thing to get from this, for right now, I mean, there's a million things you can gain from this pose. Just think about the relationship between your leg and your right arm, how they're pushing into each other. Okay, let's keep our bind. Just lower the right foot to the floor and start to creep it forward. So you're just going to use your toes to do a little scoochy scooch. And as you're doing this, you're going to be basically pushing yourself into a forward bend. At some point, the scoochy of the toes doesn't work. You'll have to flex your foot and then just slide your heel further forward. So you're in this like no man's land of a forward bend. This is very much like an Ekapada Kurmasana situation. Okay, let's unravel ourselves and rise up. Let's Vinyasa, because that gets into pretty deep forward bend material. Okay, and from down dog, either step or jump through, have a seat. Take your time jumping through. Lengthen it as much as you want. And we're just going to meet in that no man's land. Right leg is straight out, left foot is facing the side. And we're just trying to use our hip strength to rotate this hip. If I don't, this will happen. It's not the end of the world, but it's not the helpful way to kind of get us into this bird of paradise situation. So let's start to fold forward. So the takeaway from the folding forward is, of course, your hip and hamstring, but It's also, can you draw in with your belly to the front side of your body, compress in the front side so that you can stretch the back side. You have to get smaller in the front to get bigger in the back. Okay, so let's start to take it into our bind. So that left shoulder is going to come inside the knee. And you did that in all those lungey things earlier. I have to lift my left heel off the ground just for logistics. And then eventually that left leg up. And just notice how your foot, this left foot, is pushing up toward the ceiling. Even if the leg is bent and your foot is down here, you're still reaching with the foot. So it's similar to when we're in down dog and I say push your heels through the floor. If your heels are not on the floor, you're still pushing down. Same thing. Okay, let's keep our bind, bend the knee, lower the foot, and start to scooch it out in front. I made my bind a little bit tighter just now because I felt like that would be possible. Sometimes after a few breaths, you find that you can undo and redo. So as we start to slide our left leg forward, we're going to have it like either max width or closer to the right leg. And square up a little bit so we're pretty much facing the ground. Yes, there we go. If your back is feeling sensitive, your right forearm could be a bit of a massage. Okay, and let's slowly unravel ourselves and Vinyasa. Let's go for Urdhva Dhanurasana. So we'll jump through, have a seat. Soles of the feet together. I'm going to close this window with the leaf blower. Is there ever a day where there is not a leaf blower? That is what I would like to know. So Urdhva Dhanurasana, soles of the feet together, with the heels as close to your pelvis as you can manage. Shin bones in a straight line. Take that with a grain of salt and fold forward. We're going to do a different variation in the set. Let's rise up. We'll slide the feet forward about 12 inches. So now we have a diamond shape with our legs. And we'll try to bring the head to the feet. Your hands can be anywhere you want. And it will be like a little pillow with the arches of your feet. And the shape that you're making now with your back is pretty much the shape that you would be in for a Kurmasana type of pose. So as much as you can, think about the front body drawing in, and then move your entire spine forward a little bit so that like the entire thing lengthens, not just the front or back. You sort of keep your shape and just take up more space. Okay, let's rise up. We'll keep our feet that far away from our pelvis, but we'll go soles of the feet to the floor, and then walk the feet out to max width. So now from the front, it looks like this. Kind of a no man's land of a pose. Hands and elbows in, come forward. And as you come forward, you're going to feel your shoulders inside of your knees. To help us, let's drop the knees open a little bit to the sides. Then you can fold forward a little bit deeper. Now you're going to bring your knees in and clamp them onto your shoulders so that you essentially are now using your legs to keep you in this forward bend. You're squeezing your legs into your body. And when we go into Kurmasana, You might choose to do this instead. This is like the prereq or the precursor to a Kurmasana. Okay, let's rise up and Vinyasa. Milk that upward dog because that's a very intense forward bend you just did. Okay, let's come through and have a seat. You can practice the jump through or not. Okay, so we're going to start pretty much in the same spot where we left off. And then I'll show you kind of where it goes with the arms. I'll show you from the side because it's kind of an odd thing. So here you were.
Can I ask you a quick question about the jump through? Is it one foot leading always, or right on top of the left, or it doesn't matter?
It doesn't matter. Yeah, personal preference. Hard enough to just get your ass where it has to be. Okay, so here you are with your elbows reaching toward the floor. If you want, you're going to slide your arms through your legs and creep with your fingers back. So my arms are going to be at a backward diagonal, and I'm going to press my heels forward so that my legs bring my body to the ground. This is Kurmasana. And the more your legs are strongly reaching forward, the more you're going to be pushing your shoulders to the ground. And we played with that earlier in some, like when we bound and we went into that triangle, bound triangle, and then we went into a bind on the floor with one leg. Same idea. Okay, let's unravel. So drag your heels in a little bit so your knees bend. Your hamstrings are going to be on fire when you do that. So you go from the straight leg to here with the knees bent, and then it's easy to sneak your arms out. But the hamstrings have a hard time with that. Okay, let's Vinyasa and milk your upward dog so that you can kind of unwind your forward bend a bit. And let's come through and have a seat. So keep your shoulders forward as you come through. Good. And before we go into sort of our last iteration of Kurmasana, let's bend the knees. And we're just going to roll ourselves down to our back. And you can use your hands on your legs to help you get there, or you can walk hands on the ground. So once you're there, let's thread the needle. So we'll use our right ankle and our left thigh. We'll reach through, hold on to the shin bone, and pull that left knee and the right foot in toward the left shoulder. At the same time, the right knee is, of course, moving away from the right shoulder. Okay, change up the grip and go for a happy baby. Right hand on the pinky toe edge of the foot. And let's just get that right thigh flush with the floor. So that might mean that your left knee is by your chest, whatever. Just get your right thigh all the way to the ground. Your arm strength is helping to keep the knee there. And then as much as you can, you're going to extend this left leg out. So it might be sole of foot to the ground, it might be further along, it might be straight leg, but you're going to keep that right thigh down. Okay, we'll do a little sit-up. We're going to lean a bit to the left so that we can get our right shoulder underneath the knee, our right arm around. Oh, this won't work. Forget it. Okay, abort mission. Let's go for left arm around the right ankle, right arm behind the head. Let's do that. That will work. If instead you prefer foot behind the head, which I don't think that you folks in this particular group want, but you could. because you've done all the preps for it. But sort of to do the bun head, you have to do all the preps for it, like 5 days a week kind of thing, for 5 years. Okay, good. Let's get out of there. And let's vinyasa before we do the other side. So we'll start to roll ourselves up to sitting and vinyasa from there. We could do a backward somersault, but for most of us, our physical space is not conducive to such a thing. Because to do a backward somersault, which in Ashtanga is called Chakrasana, you really need like 2 mats length. Takes up a lot of length. Okay, let's come through and on our backs again. Baby cradle, or no, not baby cradle, thread the needle. Hold on to that right shin. I know it's hard to believe we're still prepping for Supta Kurmasana, but it's a really hard pose, so that's why. Okay, turn this into your happy baby. Left thigh on the ground, and right leg wherever you can get it while keeping your left thigh on the ground. And essentially, when we do the Kurmasana style forward bends, you can think about where is your thigh bone and where is your spine. And we're basically going to have them like either on the same plane or your spine's going to be closer to the floor than your thighs. Okay, turn it into your pigeon again. Wrap that right elbow around the left ankle. Left arm as a pillow. And if you're thinking foot behind the head, because I did see some attempts, this is one of those where you go like 20% effort instead of anywhere close to 80. Because this is like injury potential is big. So there's a little sit up involved. Kick your heel to your forehead and make sure that your hip is okay with that. Once your hip is okay with that, you're going to get your left shoulder inside your knee, just like you would in any other bind type of thing. And at some point, your thigh can get close enough to the floor that your your head can come higher, your foot can go back. So it's all relative, and it's starting with the thigh moving towards the ground, like in your happy baby. Okay, let's get out of there, Vinyasa. We'll do Supta Kurma, and then we're going to change the directions and start more back bend. Okay, so Supta Kurma has a bind involved. Let's come to sitting. So you folks are pretty okay with binds, but if ever there's a day where you're not, you would repeat what we did before with our arms out wide. We'll start it the same way. We'll come through. Our feet are about mat's width, give or take. You'll reach your arms through. And now you'll either stay or you'll rock a little bit side to side so that you can start to get your arms behind you in a bind. So your fingers are going to clasp by your low back. And your shoulders will be quite close to the ground. You can keep there working on that, or now start to rock your feet closer together. So everything starts to meet in the middle. Now, and you might use a strap to get your hands connected, or you might repeat the other version for a while. Okay, let's slowly unravel ourselves and vinyasa. debating if we should try it again. I think maybe we won't. We'll try it again next week. Okay, let's bring the right leg forward and lower the left knee down. Hands to the right back. And you've been in some intense forward bends, so just enjoy this for a sec. Let's interlace the fingers behind the head. Start to press the head into the hands. Elbows reaching up and back. And let's turn this into downward dog B. So lower the hands, step back, lower the elbows. Good. So we'll keep our hands parallel, or I should say in front of our elbows so that our forearms are parallel. And let's just come to forearm tabletop. So your knees come down. No big deal. Just check that your forearms are still parallel to each other. Lift the knees again, down dog B. Lower down again, forearm tabletop. And just do that a few more times. Keep squeezing your elbows toward one another. And keep your hands where they are. If your hands move in, it's going to have this seesaw effect, and then your elbows are automatically going to fly off to the side. So you really have to approach this parallel aspect from both sides. Okay, the next time you're in down dog B, straighten your arms and step your left foot forward. Ashtanga-based side 2. So this thing that I'm talking about in that forearm dog is pretty important in Urdhva Dhanurasana, which is the back bend that's shaped like a little rainbow. In Urdhva Dhanurasana, often people have their hands too close together, which means the elbows automatically are going to be apart. So today we're going to err on hands wide, elbows in. Okay, interlace the fingers behind your head. Press the head back. Okay. Now let's release the hands. Come into your down dog B again. And this time we'll come into that tabletop shape, but then we're going to walk our knees in a bit. It's going to be a lot worse now for your strength to come in and out of this. So knees as close to your elbows as you can get them while doing this little lift and lower. So forearms parallel, straighten the legs, press armpits toward legs, and then return to knees on the floor. If you do it and it's still easy, walk your knees closer to your elbows. So that at some point when you're pressing your knees up off the ground, you feel the oomph that's required of your shoulders. And it's normal to feel some fatigue. Let's meet with our knees up off the ground. Take a few breaths wherever you are, drop your head. See how much can you be loose. Obviously, this is a very strong pose. You can't relax, but maybe there's something about it that you have the ability to let go of. Okay, now let's release the knees down, and we'll sit in Virasana. So the feet will be a little bit wide so that your butt can come through, and your knees will be together. My shoulders are tired from that little down dog feet thing. Oh my God. All right, let's come on to the elbows. So hands on the feet, elbows down, lift your hips, tuck your tailbone, and lower your butt down again. When you tuck your tailbone, you're going to aim your tailbone toward your knees. Then you're going to notice your pubic bone feels like it's lifting toward your belly button. And ideally, you feel a great thigh stretch here. If there's any knee pain, come up out. Let's take one more breath. And make a choice. Can you come down to your shoulders? If the answer is no, perhaps come to the top of your head or stay where you were. If you come down to your shoulders, you're going to have to work a little bit harder now to reach your tailbone toward your knees. Okay, let's start to rise up. And we'll just step back, Vinyasa. Wide open. Let's lift the left leg up high. Kick yourself in the butt by bending the knee. And let your leg come all the way over to the floor if you want. And lift the hips up toward the ceiling. Reach your left arm back. Hips up is really the secret to success and feeling good in this pose. Let's unravel, and we'll just try the other side. Right leg up, kick yourself with the foot, let your weight of leg start to take you down and around. Gravity will really get you there, and then you have to push into the floor to keep your hips up. Okay, and let's come around. Down dog into Anahata-asana. We'll lower to the knees. We'll walk the knees back a little bit. We'll try to keep our hands at shoulders width. And we'll drop the chin or the chest to the floor. And while you're here, try to draw your belly button in. Okay. Let's rock forward to Sphinx. And let's just play with this Sphinx concept for a sec, because it drives home my point earlier about upward facing dog. So in Sphinx, let's get our elbows just slightly in front of the shoulders. Drop your chest so that your shoulders kind of shrug up to your ears, and roll your shoulders back. Start to pull yourself forward. So you feel like your upper back is real strong, chest and throat open, pubic bone pushing into the floor, so there should be no back pain, no low back pain. So this is a nice open Sphinx. Now just try it if your elbows were further back, and then now your shoulders are in front of yourself, and it's much harder now to open your chest and your throat. It feels like you're leaning forward, right? But it doesn't feel so supported. So it's the same concept in your upward facing dog. If your shoulders are forward of your elbows in up dog, it's gonna feel pink. So try again in normal Sphinx, elbows forward, and now you can really lift, you can present yourself. Let's turn it into upward dog, slide the hands back. Your feet will have to escort you there a little bit. And just play with where do you need your feet to be so that your up dog feels comfy. If it feels like here, like you're leaning forward, just scoot your feet back a little bit more. Okay, downward dog. And that placement does take practice, a little bit of experimentation. Okay, let's come on to let's step the right foot forward. Left knee down. We're going to unbend this front leg a little bit so it's more like a right angle, and interlace the fingers behind your back. Straighten your arms. and reach your knuckles sort of down toward your back knee. So the throat and chest are open, and keep all that happening. Just bend your front knee again. As you bend your front knee, it's going to be tempting to sort of lean forward, but reimagine that feeling you had when your front knee was 90 degrees. It was pretty easy to get your shoulders back. So try to keep that happening even when you're in Dandasana. Okay, let's change sides. Left foot somehow lines up to be the front foot. We'll unbend the legs. It's a boxy setup. With this front leg unbent, you have quite a lot of weight on this right knee. Interlace the fingers. I have to kind of roll one shoulder at a time. Reach down toward that right knee. And try to keep this open as you bend your front leg again. Okay. And let's get out of there. Vinyasa. Let's come through and lay on our backs. So we're gonna almost go for Urdhva Dhanurasana. I'm just gonna face this way. So first we're gonna put our hands on the pretty much the edge of the mat. Pretend my mat was facing the normal way. I'd have my pinky fingers touching the edge. And then I can control the elbows. Then I'll just come to the top of the head. And let's just meet here. So we have 2 hands, 2 feet, and a head on the ground. There's quite a lot of weight in the hands and feet, so the head is kind of an extra support beam, but not all weight bearing. Put elbows in, even more. Good. Okay, come on down. So this next thing I'm going to show you from the side. It's going to include our legs, helping us to roll from the crown of the head to the forehead. And not like super extreme, not like the third eye on the ground or nothing, more like the hairline. So we'll start the same way. My hands are wide so that my elbows can be in. And then I'm going to push with my legs so that this happens. See, the difference would be here versus here. Once I'm here, I can start to pull my chest through my arms and get the arms straight or straighter. So just try that. For some of us, our arms are not going to get perfectly straight. But we're using the strength of the legs to sort of push us into this alignment with wrists, elbows, shoulders. Good. All right. Let's come on down. So just one more little point. We're going to do that exact thing 2 more times. Just have a little look-see for a sec. So remember this thing that you did earlier, like in the sun salute? You reached up and back and your hips move forward. So this arm situation, this shoulder situation, is going to contribute to your back bend. So even if you're not a naturally back bending person, you're going to use the arm position to get you into this shape. So let's try it again. We'll place our hands with some thought. They don't just go anywhere. We'll start on the crown of the head and we'll squeeze the elbows in as we roll and lift. And let's come on down. If you have any wrist pain, this next one, just do it on your forearms. Vinyasa, Dandasana, it's exactly the same setup. except that you slide your elbows into position. So come on up whenever you're ready. If you are going into Viparita Dandasana, do not let your hands fall together. If you can keep your hands wide, you'll be able to keep your forearms parallel. Let's come over. And we'll just roll over to the side and meet in down dog B. We're still going to do tippy-toe fish, but we're going to take a slight detour because I want you to get off your wrists for a sec. So let's just hang out and Pigeon Asana. Why not? So we've gotten up into this a million ways, and you're getting pretty good at it. Miss Carrie, ignore this next thing. I want you to still practice the way we've been doing. These others of you, perhaps, you're going to go, ooh, I went too fast. Hang on. You're going to go 2 legs at once. There. There. So that first time I went too fast and my feet ended up on this little wall thing. So either way, 1 leg or 2 legs. And squeeze the legs together. Fight it, Carol. Oh, okay. All right, let's go for tippy-toe fish, which is, God, I haven't done it in so long, but I was thinking about it yesterday. So it's kind of a weird pose because we're going to have the feet kind of together, like heels together, and the knees are going to be wide. It combines a lot of things. So I'll just show you because that will make more sense than talking about it. So I could start like I'm coming into Urdhva, and I'm going to lower my butt toward my heels. So instead of pushing my hips that way, like in Urdhva, I'm going to let my butt come down. And then I'm going to let my knees come down. So my heels are close together. Oh, it's such a big thigh stretch. So getting the knees to the floor is like, ooh, ooh la la. It's fun. So you can start with like little duck feet and in your Urdhva Dhanurasana kind of lift. And then as you bring your butt down, you're going to reach your knees forward and let your knees eventually come all the way to the ground. And your arms will help balance you. Yes, Carrie, you're so close to the floor. Can your knees come in a little bit too? Yes. We should do this as a prep for Lunge because it's the same kind of thigh stretch. Okay, so when you're ready to come down, bring the soles of your feet down again. And then good. So it's a thigh stretch akin to Virasana or Lagu. And if I'm speaking a foreign language and you don't know what I'm talking about, Virasana or Lagu, don't worry about it. Don't matter. Okay, let's go for one last pinch up because the time is ticking away. Don't know where that's gone. So, Miss Carol Bloom, back up away from that damn wall. And we're just going to try to hold it for a few breaths. And just a calm, conscious thought when you're up there. I find that in the moments that I struggle in the balance, if I could bring the feet to the midline and press foot to foot. And when that second foot comes in, you can find the midline immediately and then slide it up toward the straight leg. So you connect foot to knee and then slide it to foot. That top leg is going to keep reaching the entire time. Look forward a little bit more on Nook. Good. Okay, very nice. So whenever you're done, let's just sit in Dandasana, which is technically a forward bend, even though it's, you're upright. Let's put the knuckles on the floor, bend the wrists in this way, push the pinky and thumb down. Next time we meet, we'll do some of the Mukta Hastas. And in Mukta Hasta B, you need to push your knuckles into the floor, including your pinky and your thumb. There is no pose that is in isolation. They are all related. Okay, shake out your hands and reach out toward your feet. However much of a forward bend you can peek out, do that. Sometimes if you do deep forward bends before back bends, it will feel like you can't back bend at all. Or vice versa, if you do deep back bends and then you try to forward bend, it doesn't work. So over time, we try to kind of moderate that a little bit, but it's still going to be true to some degree always. Okay, let's rise up and either cross your legs normal or cross your legs lotus. And either way, whether you're in lotus or not, you're going to try to get your knees a little bit closer together. Not like touching or anything, but just in, so that you feel like you're kind of in a tight position. And if you're in lotus, wrap your left arm behind your back, find your toes. Notice that if you're sitting straight forward, it's kind of a tough grip. But if you twist a little bit, it's an easy grip. So eventually we're going to be facing forward. You're going to swing this right arm around to hold on to the other toes. And once your second arm also grabs, which takes a while, but when it does, you'll be facing forward automatically. So until then, there's a bit of a twist, fling, etc. And let's fold forward. If you're not holding your toes, just hold opposite elbows. Drop your head. Let's unravel. Urdhva Dhanurasana just for 10 breaths. If you're not in lotus, it's going to be hard, but try your best. Hands down, butt up. If you're in lotus, your legs are going to lift, no problem. If you're not in lotus, you can try to lift your legs. It's just really hard. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Notice your shoulders are forward of your wrists. And 10, just like in your jump. Okay, either Vinyasa one last time or just unravel your legs and lay back and relax. a few more breaths here. Start to wiggle fingers and toes. Curl over to the side and then sit up. Let's bring the thumbs to the third eye. And we'll start to fold forward. You might reach a point where your edge of hand gets to the floor. You also might reach a point where you feel like you need a little more support for your back and you want to separate your hands and do something else with them. Take another breath or two. Namaste.